Welcome to the April 2014 call. Thomas has been committed to relationships for over 19 years. He has worked with and coached over 10,000 people, one-on-one, as couples, and in groups up to 400. For a menu of options for coaching and support, email us at couplestuneup@gmail.com. That's couplestuneup@gmail.com. He is committed that you and your relationships get tremendous value out of this call. Here's Thomas.
Hey, Joanne, thanks. Thank you very much for the wonderful introduction. I got just a little bit of a echo, so I'm going to go ahead and unmute everybody. Let's see if that's better. Yeah, that's way better. So thank you, everyone, for being on the call. Thank you for working out your life to join us. I don't take it lightly that you're here, and I'm committed that this call make a tremendous difference, not only for you that are here, but for every person that matters to you because you're here. For those of you who are new to the call, here's how to participate and how to listen. People will be sharing. So listen for how the sharing and interactions might apply to your situation. Give up your opinions regarding the person who's sharing and only deal with your own life. There will be opportunities to share, and I highly recommend that you do. So how do you share? You simply say your name, and I'll call on you. Right now, the call's muted. There will be a few people who will be unmuted. I call them the gallery, who will speak on behalf of the group until there are opportunities to share, and then I'll let you know when that is. This is an all-inclusive call. It includes every type of sexuality and every type of relationship. Though I will generally reference the most traditional case, which is two people in a romantic relationship, I ask that you adjust your listening to the call to fit your own situation, and I'm available to support you in that. The intention of this series of calls is to create the possibility of true love. Love being experienced, love being expressed, and love being expanded. It is my intention that the couple become your sanctuary, your place of refuge, where you get reminded of who you really are and without judgment. And that is pure love and life energy. The 7 stages of breathtaking relationships. I'm going to briefly review the stages that we've covered so far on our series of calls. Now, these stages are located on my website at www.thestagesoflove.com. And for those of you who haven't been on previous calls, not to worry. Each call is designed to be independent, and that means that in and of itself it's valuable, no matter what you've heard so far or what you haven't. And every call is recorded, and you can go back and listen to anything that you've missed. Stage 1, I call it HIGH. It's an acronym, H-I-G-H. It stands for highly intoxicated, giddy, and happy. You're in love, and the brain floods the body with oxytocin and dopamine. It's an exciting experience, and it can last anywhere from 6 months up to 2 years for people. And during this time, you and your partner are borderline nuts. Stage 2, distinguishing from. In stage 2, stage 2 is also referred to as the coming down stage. The dopamine and the oxytocin are subsiding a little in your bodies, and reality is beginning to peek through. In this stage, you start to ask serious questions. Who are you, really? Who am I, really? And who are we? Stage 3, the choice stage, also referred to as the reality stage or the power struggle stage. This stage is loaded. 50% of all relationships end in this stage as a natural occurrence. Another percentage moves through it powerfully, while many others get stuck in this stage. Those that get stuck rarely get through it. Why? because they don't have a language to reference what's happening. And by the way, that's why we're here. Communications get heated while the couple is blaming each other and blaming themselves. A blame game leads to a turbulent coupling. In many cases, the couple will remain faithful but miserable. There are a number of coaching opportunities for people in this situation, and you can find them on my website, www.thestagesoflove.com. It includes also fees, etc. Stage 4 is the brain dance. The 4th stage is a magnificent stage for a relationship, and it lives in the background for the life of the relationship. You cannot have the beauty of this stage without powerfully moving through stage 3. When you're stuck in stage 3, stage 4 simply cannot come alive. You see, by the time you get to stage 4, you've chosen the relationship, you've chosen the partner exactly as he or she is and exactly as they're not. And stages 1 through 3 in this cycle are complete. The brain dance is a brain syncing. You start to think alike. The couple has a mind of its own. It does not minimize individuality. On the contrary, it thrives on individuality. Thinking alike doesn't mean always agreeing. It means, though, honoring your differences of opinion. You are in sync, a harmony of rhythm to the dance of the brain. Today we're going to continue with stage 4. And for those of you who are on for the first time, as I said before, all the calls are recorded, and you're welcome to go back and listen to any of them to get what you haven't heard so far, but they're not necessary for you to get what you're going to get tonight. Now, to start off, I want to hear from you. I'd like to hear from those of you who've listened to the calls, who've been on previous calls. I want to hear what's been happening, what's been opening up, what you've been getting. For those of you who have not been on any calls, I want to hear from you what's going on, what are you here for, and what would you like to accomplish? So I've unmuted the phone, so if you're in a loud place, what I ask you to do is to put yourself on mute. And if you're able to talk, please take a moment and share with me what's happening, what's been opening up. If you're new to the call, what are you here for, and what would you like to accomplish?
Dean?
Okay, did I hear Dean?
Dean!
Dean! Oh, Gene!
Hi.
Hey, Gene! Sorry, hi.
Hi.
Hey, welcome to the call.
Oh, thank you. Well, this is my second call that I've been on, but I haven't participated like I am now. And I listened to the call from last month, and it just blew my socks off. And I really loved it and got a lot of value out of it, you know, looking at the different brain dances or
the rhythms of the heart.
Yes.
Rhythms of the heart, yeah? Sure.
Yes. And what's going on in my life with my relationship is that we have decided to not be boyfriend-girlfriend anymore and have completed that portion of our relationship and are moving forward into being amazing best friends. And so I've been grieving that and have found my happy place again and actually feel more powerful. So I'm excited to continue to learn more about myself and relationship moving forward into creating the next one.
Beautiful.
You know.
Gene,
yeah.
That's really great. Listen, I'm going to make a recommendation. That my website should be up tonight. I don't know for a fact if it is or not, but we'll know soon enough. But it will be up very, very soon. And on the website, you'll see a tab called The 7 Stages. I want you to click on the 7 stages and read through the prelude, okay? It's before stages 1 through 7. It just says the 7 stages, okay? So
Okay.
take a look at that. I think it'll support you in dealing with what you're dealing with right now.
Thank you, Thomas.
Yeah, thank you, and thanks for sharing. Okay,
Yeah.
I heard Ron.
Ron, yep.
Hey, Ron.
Hey, brother. So, you know, this rhythm of the heart, you know, I've been married for almost 24 years, as you know, to Kathy, and the rhythm of the heart for Kathy is she likes little surprises. Really, she likes big surprises, but little surprises, something simple, really is like the rhythm of her heart. And so, you know, when I had that power, is it a power shot? The power shot call where you and I were together just for 30 minutes or so.
45 minutes, yeah.
45 minutes. So I want you to know I took the coaching, and here I'm out of town, and I'm thinking, what in the world can I do when I'm out of town? So what I did is I took a picture of these wild flowers in this field, and I took this selfie of the flowers behind me, and I spread my arms, and I sent her this text that said, "These are for you." And
Sweet.
and so the first thing was, you know, what in the world can I do if I'm out of town? So anyway, I shot that to her. Felt a little uncomfortable. She sent back and she said, "Oh," she says, "I love you too." And you know, it was in that moment. I mean, I really got her expression and touch in that moment. And then it was like, okay, what to do next? Now, this is where it got a little confusing because when I spoke to you, you were like, you know, we looked at some different options to look at and like send her the flowers, and which was great. But here's what I dealt with. It was like it's not natural, number one. And number two, it was like, do I send her one flower or do I send her like this bouquet of flowers, 1 rose, a dozen roses? So anyway, I ended up doing nothing.
Yeah, got it. And I bet you're not alone. I bet there's a lot of people who give 1 or 2 things, and then, you know, if it's not natural to you, then you don't really know which direction to go. So I'm going to give you a couple things. First of all, Ron, thanks for taking the coaching and doing what you did. I know that the dividends are well worth it, you know, the payoff. But here's how to go. First of all, you're learning a new language, and you know that it is a rhythm of her heart, so it's worth learning, right? It's worth it.
Yeah.
You there, brother, or did I lose you?
Oh, yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. So, you know, it's like when you're in business, there's certain languages that you have to learn in business. And to not learn that language has you not be as successful in the business as if you learn it, right? I mean, you're in real estate. Prior to real estate, you were in accounting. Prior to accounting, you were a cop. Each one has a different language, a different rhythm, something that if you know and you learn it, you're successful at it. Accurate?
Yes, yeah.
So this is, for you, a new language. And maybe in some ways you've played it before enough that she married you and you've lasted 24 years. So here's a couple of tips. Number one, there are things that she does for you that underneath it all, she's actually training you and you're missing the training. There's things that she does for you that really in her heart of hearts she wishes you'd do for her. So that's your training right there. You can learn right off some things that would pay off big dividends. She's already done it for you and taught you how to do it. You've just been ignorant to the fact that you've been trained. Get it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second thing is, do I send 1? Do I send a dozen? See, when you send flowers, mostly if you send a dozen of anything or anything big, it's generally going to be an occasion. You know, a birthday, anniversary, Mother's Day, a special occasion, or something special between the two of you. If you send a dozen roses out of the blue or a big bouquet of flowers, it could mean trouble because now she's suspicious. What the heck's going on? Perhaps. Not always, right? But here's what I recommend.
It's funny you say that because that's exactly what it was like. Gosh, if I do that, that could cause a problem. It's like, you know, not
like, what are you up to?
Like,
what's wrong?
Yeah, like, what are you up to? Like, really couldn't appreciate the gesture. And then if I send one, it's like, oh, I just going to give me one?
Okay, so the one is the best way to go, and let me tell you why the one. The one says, I was thinking about you. The one says, I love you, and it will communicate. It doesn't say anything more, and it doesn't say anything less. You get that?
Yeah, I do.
Now, what are some of the things that she's done for you over the years that you can see right now we're actually training for you?
Well, you know, it's like when I travel, she'll usually bury a note somewhere in my suitcase that says I'm like thinking of you, and then, you know, later in the night I'll open up my overnight satchel for my toothbrush, and then there'll be another note, you know, hope you had a good day, good night, love you. So there's like these little hidden notes.
Yep. Okay, so there you go. Listen, if she put that much thought into doing that for you, trust me, all she wants is for somebody to do it for her, and you're the somebody.
Got it. Yeah, and I really like the one rose. Yeah, so I can see how I made it complicated, which is one of my things, you know. So
that's right.
Got it.
And it can
Thank
seem,
you, bro.
It can. You're welcome. And listen, on my website, brother, there's on my blog 25 ways to say I love you. I went back through my relationship with Raphael, and I looked at all the different ways that I created I love yous without actually saying I love you, and made a list of them. So you can steal from that
tell me
list.
again, what is that tell me again where that would be. Where's your blog?
Well, on the website, if you go down to the bottom of the page, it'll say Thomas's blog, and you'll see articles that I've either copied or articles that I've written, and it'll be distinguished on there, which is the case. Okay?
Got it. Thank you, bro.
Hey, brother, thank you, and thanks for doing the work. Anybody else?
Yeah, Kelly.
Okay, Kelly, you're the last one.
Okay. So your rhythms of the heart have been really making a difference to me because I was able to look for myself in some of my past dating encounters, and one of them had happened to be where I was sort of dating a man, and he would do things like write me poetry and, you know, take me out to dinner, and he ended up buying me a couple of books that I had wanted, and I'm like, wow, I didn't even expect him to do that. He really listened, and he bought me these couple of books as a present. And then I had been like, oh, but that wasn't something that really had turned me on. And so I quit making myself wrong about that. Like that was something that should have happened to turn my heart center on. And so I've gotten really present that's nice, and I think that's great. Mine really is listening, and then that's something that I can really look for and be with on a date, to just feel out if there's a lot of presence and deep listening going on, because what my heart rhythm is really like a beautiful, playful dance in a conversation where someone gets me and I get them, and our conversation is about really expanding the other human being, and that is what will turn me on. So it's helped me in the realm of what I'm going to look for in the realm of dating.
Very good. Very good. Let me just give you one little tip, okay?
Yeah.
Definitely look for that, and don't be afraid to teach somebody that you happen to fall in love with, because it may very well be that the person that you gravitate towards may not automatically be that for you, and it doesn't mean it's missing. There may be all the other things, and then there's that one thing. So, you know, I don't say don't look for it, but I also say don't throw the baby away with the bathwater. If it's not completely there in the beginning, just notice if he's trainable, and if he's open to satisfying you and open to giving you, you let him know that you really need and want, okay?
Okay.
All right, Kelly, thanks. Good work. All right, I'm going to mute again, guys, and there will be time later on that you can share again. There's one thing that if it's missing will bring down the most powerful couple, the most thriving families, the most most influential leadership, the greatest friendship, the strongest character, and the deepest love. On the other hand, this one thing, if it's developed and it's leveraged, this one thing has the potential to create unparalleled satisfaction and fulfillment in every dimension of life. And that one thing is trust. And that's from The Speed of Trust by Stephen Covey. From your very birth to our death, love is not just the focus of human experience, but also the life force of the mind. It determines our moods. It stabilizes our bodily rhythms. It literally changes the structures of our brains. The body's physiology ensures that relationships determine and fix our identities. Love makes us who we are, and love makes us who we can become. In this past decade, there's been an explosion of scientific discoveries about the brain, the leading edge of a revolution that promises to change the way we think about ourselves and to change the way we think about our relationships. Couples with high trust levels do for each other in ways beyond what's visible and all the time. From the book, A General Theory of Love by Thomas Lewis, he says, two people in a trust-based couple simultaneously transmit information to each other that will alter hormone levels, alter cardiovascular function, alter sleep rhythms, alter immune function, and much more. High trust levels in a couple lead to life. Trust equals confidence, and mistrust equals suspicion. So first of all, guys, I want you to consider that there is a heart bank, a little bank in your heart, let's say, a registry of withdrawals and a registry of deposits. And like any bank, you want more deposits than withdrawals. So last month, we talked about the rhythms of the heart and how they build the experience of love. They also make huge deposits into the heart bank. Then there are trust busters, and we're going to talk about those later, that are big withdrawals. And the trust builders are big deposits. So this afternoon, I want to talk to you about building trust in the couple. And I think that to build trust in the couple, we want to first look at what destroys trust. So I'm going to talk to you about what I call trust busters. There are a number of them. Last call we covered two. One was criticism. The other was contempt. Tonight, I'm going to add four more. And the first one is hidden agenda. Now, first of all, an agenda isn't bad or wrong. An agenda is just an agenda, and everybody's got an agenda. It's that the agenda is hidden. A hidden agenda is like an ulterior motive. You may do something or act a certain way in a supposed inclination to be kind or to be helpful or generous, when the real reason you did what you did was for personal gain. Hidden agendas impact trust between a couple. And again, it's not the agenda, it's the hiding. When I hide my motives or I hide my intentions, it destroys trust and it raises the question, do you really have my back? Because if you have my back, then of course everything, including your agenda, would be out on the table, transparent. Now, I want you to take a moment and look in your life and look in your relationship. Is there anything hidden? Do you have an agenda that you've not spoken? Anything that you see in this conversation, take 1 minute and write down a couple notes. I'm going to give you a minute to do that now. If you're driving or something, a minute seems like a really long time. Just hang tight. All right, well, my minute just turned into 45 seconds. We're going to move to the next one. Win-lose. Win-lose is an attitude that everything and everyone is a competition. Now, while competition can be a very good thing, you and your partner may be playing a game, or you put together a competition around eating habits or weight loss where there can only be one winner. But win-lose as a trust buster is the couple, the relationship, is not as important as being right, or the couple isn't as important as you being the best or having things go your way. This approach often shows up if you're jealous when something good happens for your lover, or you feel threatened to not be noticed as important. Healthy relationships take each other's needs and feelings into account always. It involves a large degree of give and take, and that requires trust. The 7 Habits, written by Covey. He wrote habit number 4, win-win or no deal. I only want to go for win-win. I want to win, but I want you to win. I wouldn't want to get my way and have you not feel good about it, because downstream it would eventually surface and create a huge withdrawal on the heart bank. On the other hand, I don't think you would feel good if you got your way and I gave in. So let's work for a win-win. Let's really hammer it out. And if we can't find it, then let's agree that we won't make a deal at all. It would be better not to deal than to live with a decision that wasn't right for both of us. Then maybe another time we might be able to get together. Take 45 seconds. Write down anything you see regarding win-lose with regard to your relationship or in your life. Do you really want what's best for both of you? Do you have more focus on yourself rather than on the best interest of the couple? Okay, I've unmuted the line. I'd like to hear from any of you on those first 2 trust busters. We have 2 more to go, but I want to hear if there's anything that showed up for you around win-lose and around hidden agendas that you'd like to share. Anybody?
Well, hey, Thomas.
Who is that?
Todd from Scottsdale. How are you doing?
Todd, I'm doing extremely well. It's good to hear your voice, my friend. What do you hear?
Great. Well, it's one thing I'm hearing is, and thanks for your mini coaching. It's I have to get to the point where I'm not worried about trusting the other person and wondering what their motives are, and being able to be comfortable enough with myself to want it to be a win-win for both of us. And I think it's a trust factor that I'm having a tough time with, especially losing a dad and then a sister-in-law a year after that. So I think it's been a real challenge for me.
Yeah, I got that. Thanks, Todd. Thanks for pitching in. Anybody else? Okay, we're going to move on to the last 2. Oh, go ahead. Was it Ron?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, here's what I thought. For me, I pretend that I'm not annoyed. So there'll be times I'm reading, or I like to be by myself and left alone. My wife comes in and she wants to start to talk about various things, and it's like, for me, I'm like, I really don't want to talk about this right now, but I pretend like I'm interested. And I notice that's what I'm hiding. And then I also notice it also fits in that win-lose. Like the win for me is leave me alone. The lose for her is that's how I think that's one of her rhythms also is to, talk.
Be listened to.
And be listened to. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So what are you going to do about that?
Well, what's there right there is like, well, I'll start to listen. But I just don't trust myself to do that. I mean,
No, you're not going to do that.
Yeah.
You're not going to do that. You're not going to change your stripes overnight, and there's not enough motivation and not enough dividend to do it. So what you could do is, number one, you quit the hiding and the pretense. You create the opportunity where you're just going to read, and you create the opportunity where you're just going to listen. So if there's something that she needs to talk about, she's going to need to talk about something every single day, right? So why not carve out 20 minutes where, hey, Kathy, around 7:30, you want to sit down and talk? I mean, that would blow her mind if you ever said that, especially if you don't have anything really to talk about, yeah?
Yeah, it kind of freaked me out too. Yeah,
that's right. If we have a meeting at 7:30 to talk, then she's less likely to come in and interrupt you while you're reading.
Yeah,
I think that could be a win-win.
I like that. Yeah, that's great. That's great. I mean, that's back to a rhythm that I didn't.
Okay, thanks, Ron. If you were still talking, I muted you. I didn't hear anything else, okay? So we're going to move on now to the last two trust busters. The next one is called evasion. Evasion is the act of avoiding something that you don't want to deal with. Dr. Gottman of the Gottman Institute for Relationships calls it stonewalling. It's a way of being or an action that leaves your partner uncertain and insecure. See, for trust to abound, one needs certainty. Certainty that you will speak your mind, brother, that you will negotiate, that you won't stop the action until you're both satisfied with the outcome. Sorry, I lost my note. Even if it's like this, it looks like withholding information. It looks like double talk. It looks like somebody who's beating around the bush or speaking with a forked tongue. I mentioned speaking with a forked tongue to somebody, and they looked at me odd, and I thought, I don't guess we use that term very often. Speaking with a forked tongue, it could be aggressive talk, but it could also mean speaking out of both sides of your mouth. False flattery, positioning, spinning communication in order to manipulate the thoughts, the feelings, or the actions of others. You're speaking, and the words are bouncing off of that person. You're not being heard. You're being blown off. They pretend to get it so that you might move on. They even might shake their head like they know what you're talking about, but you know absolutely that they're not present. The speaking and actions of pretense insult the intelligence of your partner. So when you pretend and you act like you're present and you're not, or you say they're crazy because they noticed something and you act like it's not there, it is an insult to their intelligence. And many times an argument won't come up because they know better than to cross that line. That's a trust buster. The last one, low blows. It's a comment or an action which is cruel and callous. It's meant to cut like a knife, and that's why it's called a low blow. It hurts, and it's hard to take that back. I'm going to ask you all to examine and refine your motives. Take a moment, write down anything that you see. We'll take a little bit of sharing later on, but I just want you to take a moment right now and just write down anything that's there for you. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds, and I'm going to move into trust builders. Okay, trust builders. Number one, honesty. Practice being honest with each other. Notice, is your partner free to be honest with you? Do you notice that they're honest with other people? Create in the couple a tempered but straight talk. Tempered means controlled. You know, you're not going to go crazy, but you want straight talk. You want to know that when your partner talks to you, that they're going for reality, no pretense. Create just and fair conduct. Are you consistently fair in how you assess yourself and other people? Do you know when you're not fair to yourself, it's an indicator of what your fairness might be for, like some type of a compensation? Do you or your partner lie to other people? And do you do it freely, as though it doesn't matter? What are some of the things around dishonesty with yourself or in the couple that you pardon, and why do you pardon it? Take 30 seconds to write down anything you see. You'll notice the writing time gets shorter and shorter as we get closer and closer to 7. Write fast. The next trust builder, transparency. People don't trust what they cannot see. Is your life purposefully transparent? The spirit of transparency is the first key in restoring trust, says Stephen Covey of The Speed of Trust. Can you be asked at any time where you are, where you're going, what you're doing, who you're with? Are you completely accountable for your actions? Do you tell the truth? The coaching is tell the truth and leave the right impression so that you can never be misunderstood. Make sure that your actions accurately display your agenda. Stephen Covey also says the counterfeit of transparent is illusion, making things appear different than they really are. Illusion is opaque, while trust is transparent. Transparency, the light principle. Light shines through it. The next one, results. Are you all talk, or does your talk lead to action? You see, results build loyalty, and loyalty breeds trust. How long can your relationship run on a zero balance? When will you take serious action? Are you going to wait until the partner that you say you love is ready to walk? They're packing their bags and you look at them and say, I don't know what happened? Talk with no action is the illusionist at work. If this is your habit, it will be hard to break. But if you're really interested in something spectacular, you'll take this habit on with full speed and never look back. And the last one, my favorite, is reverence. Create gratitude to be in each other's lives. Make sure that your couple knows that they come first. Don't risk continuing to trust. Make sure that there's mutual satisfaction and that you be responsible for that. Revere in each other. Hold each other and the couple in high regard. create honor. Take a moment and write down anything you can see with regard to the trust builders. I've got it unmuted. I'll take one or two shares from anything up until now. And then the last part of the call is critically important. So make sure that I have your complete listening at that point. So who'd like to share?
Jean?
Okay, Jean.
You know, I have to say, I feel so great about so many of these trust builders.
Yep.
And when you got to the part of results, I am super loyal, but I do not create results. I do not have integrity with myself and what I say I want for myself. And so that is like huge for me to see.
Very good. Listen, Jean, nobody can treat you better than you treat yourself. Contrary to what many people will tell you, it is fiction. If you are not good to you, you can't let anybody else be good to you.
Yeah.
So that part, you got to take it on like full steam ahead. You want somebody great in your life? You want somebody to love you like you've never been loved before? You want to be put on a pedestal? You've got to find self-love. You got to develop your own self-trust.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
And
that's an amazing piece.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks. I'm going to move on, guys, and then at the end, if there's anybody else, you'll have time. We're now going to go into the 4 pillars that have relationships work. The 4 pillars are definitely what I'm going to take some notes on, and it will be posted on my website blog sometime tomorrow afternoon. Doesn't give you permission not to listen, though. Pillar number 1, be spotless with your word. Say only what you mean and avoid being dishonest. Don't make decisions when you're angry, and don't make promises when you're happy. Don't speak against yourself, your partner, or your couple. Don't gossip about other people. Talk in a way that shows respect, and only speak of others as though they were present. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. Train your partner that you are straight up. That's pillar number 1. Pillar number 2, forgive easily. Nothing your partner does is really because of you. What people do and what people say is a projection of their own reality, their own experience, and their own interpretation. Don't make it mean so much about you. Make it easy for your partner to right their wrongs with you. Be eager to forgive. Almost all conflicts are the result of unfulfilled expectations. When you didn't hammer out or get very clear what's expected. As well, I don't want anybody on here to think that I'm saying you should accept any kind of abuse or disrespect. I'm directing this pillar to a healthy, mature, adult relationship. Forgive. Make a conscious decision to cease to harbor resentment. Pillar number 3, be courageous. Don't allow yourself to get stuck in the stories of your life. Don't get stuck in your interpretation. Stuck in your own head is a self-centered way to be in a couple, and you will never gain satisfaction. Find the courage to ask questions. Risk seeming foolish or childish or needy. Express what you really want and what you really need. Communicate with your partner as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstandings, sadness, and drama. Acknowledge the unsaid. Discuss the undiscussables. Name the elephant in the room and strike all issues at the root. And in this pillar, I really want to acknowledge my partner because he demonstrates this in his actions and in his ways of being. It's powerful, and it gives us a stable foundation for communication. With just this one agreement, you can completely transform your relationship. And pillar number 4, build the trust bank. Build trusting habits and always do your best. Your best is going to change from moment to moment. It will be different when you're healthy as opposed to sick. Under any circumstance, simply do your best. Give up self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. But also give up resentment, judgment, and abuse of others. Part of building the heart account is handling your failures in the 4 pillars immediately. Don't waste a minute. An amazing relationship happens when the couple is up for reinvention, willing to ask the question, what can I do to make your life better with me? Your couple is a haven from injustice when who you are is fair and just. The dream is necessary for romance. Confronting reality gives foundation to the dream. You must be powerful in both domains to have an amazing, loving relationship that is long-lasting. Our next call is Sunday, May 18th, 6 p.m. Pacific time, and I do hope that every single one of you will join us, invite others who may benefit. I'm also going to be doing a live event in San Francisco Thursday, May 29th at 7:30. See my website for details. And right now, I want to take sharing to complete. I'd like to hear if anybody has anything they'd like to. Yes, Sarah, go right ahead.
Well, first of all, I just want to thank you for the call.
Yes, thank you for being on the call.
I've missed you.
Thank
you
for missing.
It's really great to be back with you.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
What's really great for me is just to kind of quickly check in. I am engaged to be married for the first time in my life at 50 years old.
Congratulations. We're all so happy to hear that.
And what's gratifying is how much I see my relationship in each of the trust builders and pillars that you mentioned in terms of we frequently express gratitude for each other. He's great at, just kind of a hint for your brother. I would love a rose. I know I would get that communication. My sweetie sends me texts like, I was just thinking about you and let's make a date with each other soon and things like that. And it's amazing what kind of cachet that gets him with me. I've never before in my life had a man who has treated me with that. And one of the things I saw for myself in the, I think it was the Trust Busters or the Relationship Busters, is the thing about winning, win-win or don't make a contract at all. I am so competitive that it's hard for me to give up the idea of winning. I think it's really just in my own, it's over here with me that I have to surrender that. I just have to give it up that I'm winning or if he gets his way, then I've lost somehow.
Got it. Yeah. So here's the thing. Let me give you something on this, Sarah, because it's going to be way simpler than you can think. So it's natural as a human being to want to win. I mean, come on. It's how we probably got here in the first place. Some battle got won and we got on the earth, right?
Right.
But now what you want to do is you've created a new entity, and this entity is now called the couple. So now when the couple wins, you have that experience, of winning and the experience of being bigger and brighter, you see? So just start relating to the entity as you versus you and him, okay? And that'll give you a lot of power.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, and thanks for sharing. Thanks for being on the call. Yes, Linda, go ahead.
Back to the Trust Busters, Lori feels really insecure when she's not in control, but I can't always agree with her 100%. And so how would I make her feel secure when my opinion or my decision is different than the one she's presenting?
Okay. So first of all, there's an assumption that she feels insecure when she's not in control.
Based on 24 years of experience with her, yes.
Yes, I get it, Linda, but let me tell you about 24 years of experience. 24 years of experience blinds us to who the other person really is and who they can be. So it's really a good idea. Like, one of the best favors you could ever do for your partner is forget that you know them. You know, in my relationship, I try to create as many first times as possible. I try to create the experience of we've never been here before. I like to learn about him again. I like to learn things I didn't know. Now, the longer you've been together, the more it's going to take in creation to have that happen. So where I would start is I would ask Lori, what is it about you getting your way that makes you happy? Like, you really want to get into her head. It's not like you want to argue for your point. You know, I'm sure after this many years, you've learned how to agree to disagree. Right. But have you ever really just taken the time to get in and say, you know, what is it? Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there really is something over there that I'm missing that if I saw it, I'd actually agree and didn't even know that I would agree. You follow?
Uh-huh.
It's not your job to make her feel secure. It is your job to feed the heart bank. That's the only job you have. She has to be responsible for, am I secure or insecure, and she has to deal with that. But you, if you just take what we went through this afternoon, this evening, and it will get posted on the website where you can go back and review it, you'll have this opportunity to build on a few things that maybe were missing and you didn't know they were missing. Does that communicate? And you'll start to notice her reactions when you give them to her. And her reaction should let you know, okay, this is the right thing. This is what she needs. If she gets this, she's more apt to listen to my side of or my view. Does that help at all?
Got it. Thank you, Thomas.
Yeah, Linda, you're welcome. Anybody else?
Dan. Brother Dan.
Oh, Brother Dan. Hey, Brother Dan.
Hey, one of the things that I've experienced with Karen and I is, and I'll just use like going out to eat as a simple example, is I'll find that one of us will be trying to give the other one the answer what we think they want to hear. So it would be, you know, where you want to go eat. Well, if I ask her that, there's times that I feel like she's trying to give me the answer what she thinks I want to do versus what she wants to do.
Yeah.
So then it turns into this debate that can be stressful sometimes. Yeah.
It would be stressful sometimes. So let me ask you this. If she, let's say you say, where do you want to go eat? And you can sense that she's trying to give you the answer she wants to hear, who cares? Do you get what I'm asking you, brother? Who cares? So she's trying to give you the answer you want to hear. Why don't you just let her do that?
I don't know how to put that on pause.
Versus what she really wants.
Well, you don't know that. See, what she really wants might be just to please you.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Whoever that is, I know you're trying to mute and don't know how this hits *6. Yeah, that's one thing. You could give up that it matters. If she's trying to please you, then maybe you should tell her where you want to go, right?
Right.
All right, but what's other areas where it means more? Because usually the going out to eat's not that big a deal. Is there something else where it comes up where it's louder, more problematic?
Probably the kids. I would say the kids. There's that would probably be the biggest one that stands out in the moment. So it's like, you know, Justin's 22, Jeremy's 18. They both work. They both got their own income. They both live at home. Not a problem. But I still pay for a lot of their bills. It's like, yeah, for her, it's her way of contributing to them. versus let them pick up some of the slack and learn responsibilities of life, if you would.
Got it. Yeah. Well, that sounds like a meeting.
Oh, yeah, we have them all the time. Yeah, she wins.
Of course she does. Is she on the call?
She is on the call, and she is listening. She's in there laughing. She is laughing. Yes.
Oh, good. Okay, well, now she knows.
She hollered it.
Talk about it a little more.
She hollered at her and said, "Kate, I'm on the call." So there you go.
Oh boy, that's funny. That's funny. Anybody else? All right. Well, Raphael wanted me to share. He handed me a note. So, I went through the 4 pillars, and he wanted me to remind you that the 4 pillars supports the foundation for the structure of a strong relationship. And when you take away any one of the pillars, you're breaking down the relationship. So, a great way to check in to measure the health of your relationship, and, I do this when I'm doing coaching with couples. I send out a questionnaire that I borrowed from Dr. Gottman, and the questionnaire points to the 4 pillars, and it gives me a sense of where the relationship is weak and what we should focus on. So, this would be a great way for you to measure and to look at where you are and what you might need to pay attention to. So I want to thank each and every one of you for your contribution. Thank you very, very much for being on the call. I feel you. Again, next month's call is May 18th. And May 29th, I'm doing a live presentation in San Francisco. It'll be listed on my website. Please check out my website. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it's up because I don't know right this moment. But
Thomas, this is Joanne.
Joanne.
It's not up right now.
It's not up. Okay, well, you guys just check later in the week. It's supposed to be up, and I'm sure that Ed's working diligently to get it up. All right, everybody.
Thank you so much, Thomas.
I'll talk to you next month. Yeah, thank you, guys.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you.
Thanks, Thomas.
Awesome.
Bye, everybody.